Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to the show. You're listening to On the Bench, episode 161. Thank you for joining us. And a huge thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who continue to help with the show. You might have seen just recently I released a very short video on our Facebook page of some of the changes we've done within the studio, and we're able to make those changes due to the fantastic support of our Patreons. You too can help support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 per month upwards. All of your contributions are greatly appreciated, and hey, you get a free sticker as well. And in the studio with me, I've got Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day listeners.
And Julian.
Yep, good morning.
Gentlemen, how are we?
Very good, thank you.
How have we been?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy with work, normal stuff.
Cool.
No. Work's work, mate.
True. Julian, how's your week been, or your fortnight?
Yeah, not too bad. Sort of getting my stuff together for this trip that I'm doing to Japan. Organising some things,
1 week to go.
Book this hotel, book that hotel.
And it's all locked away now?
No, mostly, not quite. I mean, like some things have changed around and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, probably not going down to Osaka anymore.
Oh.
But I mean, I'll still be going down to the Shizuoka Hobby Show.
Oh, cool. Well,
yeah.
We've got to do a cross to you while you're over there, even if I were to record it off season, so I can, or off episode, so we can sort of shove you in while you're not here, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Julian, our
because the time
reporter.
difference isn't that difference between here and Japan.
No.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how we go, but I mean, it was an afterthought because basically I'd booked the whole trip out, and then it's like, oh, did you hear? It got announced, the Shizuoka Hobby Show. And I'm like, really? Does that fall in my time frame? And it barely does.
Oh,
like
perfect.
a day or two before I fly out, and I fly out from a different city. So there's all that, and
People have been giving you a whole heap of lists of things to buy.
not a list of things to buy really, and I can just ignore them. Anyway.
Anything Godzilla related
It's like I can't buy everything for everybody, can I?
No, you just tell them to go and buy their own tickets and go there and get it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're there for your holiday, man.
Yeah, that's right.
It.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Anyway.
So we've got some new things going on with the studio, I see.
Yeah, as I mentioned at the opening of the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got the sound insulation stuff on the walls.
Yep, well, more sound insulation, I should say.
And finally some new headphones.
Yes.
Because the old ones have been with us since the very beginning.
7 years old.
And then we're shedding little bits of rubbery plasticky stuff from the cushions onto our shoulders every time we record.
Yes. Yeah, they'd seen better days.
Yeah, so it's not an extravagant spend. It's a necessary one because they were literally falling apart.
And a huge thank you to all our patrons who made this possible as well.
Yeah,
so
thanks
fantastic.
guys and girls.
Very thank you.
100%. Also, while we're saying thank you, I've got to do a huge shout out to a couple of people. First of all, Kentucky Dave. Thank you very much, mate, for helping out with the stuff that you've been helping out with. He knows what I mean, and it's been very well appreciated. Second huge shout out goes to David Lockhart, who sent us a surprise gift in the mail. And, mate, we are all completely blown away by it.
I'm speechless.
Yes, I'll be putting my stuff in my very small modelling cabinet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we Dave's very nicely sent us a coin.
Yes, a challenge coin. Which I love because I collect challenge coins, so it's awesome.
And to really make it even better, all of us each got a little jar of sand from Omaha Beach.
Yeah, man, that was so
that is
special.
Just, wow.
Yeah.
That's something just wasn't expecting, but I'm over the moon. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it was a beautiful surprise when I opened it up, and And I just couldn't wait to share it with you guys when you got in today, because I knew, Ian, that you'd be actually over the moon with the sand.
Like
You know,
it's a bit of history in your hands.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, like I think about it in a. I had just a bit of an intrusive thought thinking about that sand just now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Australia being what it is, I mean, there's chances are that no blood's been spilt on any of our beaches, right?
Oh, in Australia there has, yes.
Well,
Darwin.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We got bombed by the Japanese.
yeah, but I mean, like, no, I'm talking about the actual sand that you're holding in your hand,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like,
Has been contested over.
there's probably even good parts of Australia where there's sand that's never been touched by human hands before, right?
Oh, quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
Not quite, I'd say most likely.
not so much for Omaha Beach. I mean, even before World War II, the British and the French were spilling blood on that beach, likely for
No doubt.
centuries. It's quite a interesting
If
thing
that
to think
sand
about.
could talk.
It is.
Yes, if only the sand could talk. But unfortunately, it's just sand.
Yes.
But no, it was a wonderful gift, and
Yep.
it was unlooked for, and our sincere appreciations, David. It was a wonderful surprise. Thank you very much.
You're a legend, mate.
It is indeed. And you've come in the studio with some books.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, that's why I was running a bit late this morning. I got a little card in the mailbox saying I missed a delivery. So I've got three new books that came in. First one is, let's grab it, is from Volume 10 of Pacific Profiles, Allied Fighters, the P-47 Thunderbolts in the Southwest Pacific, 43 to 45, by Michael John Carringbold.
Oh, geez, that reminds me.
He's a great author, great series of books.
Oh, that's just triggered me, because I think Chris Meddings asked me for his contact details, and I can't find them anywhere.
Oh, we'll see if I can find them for you.
Yeah, can you, please?
Second book I ordered in, which I got, was Bombers North by Dr. Tom Lewis, and that is Allied bomber operations from Northern Australia from 1942 to 45, which is a very comprehensive book. With
and there were some
profiles
significant bombing operations that occurred out of Northern Australia.
Battle for the Bismarck Sea, for starters.
And the US Army Air Force had a number of large squadrons that operated throughout the Northern Australia, late 42 into 44.
Yep. And the final book I got was about 240-page and really big tome. Volume 1, The Solomons Air War, Guadalcanal, August to September 1942, by Michael Claringbold and Peter Ingman.
And that's just Volume 1.
That's just Volume 1. Usually these come up to about 5 to 6 volumes from what I remember. So
fantastic.
Some nice scores.
Ian, I'd ask you to post some pictures of that on our Facebook page.
I'll take a photo and
anybody's interested. And
yeah, but I'm a big fan of the Pacific Profiles books.
Yeah.
Well, that's my thing. I'm quite interested in the Pacific Air War.
And you also brought a model kit with you.
Yes.
Oh, you got a model kit.
Yes.
Which is the...
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, you already saw it, so I can't surprise you, but I can surprise Julian.
Yeah, you can surprise Julian.
There you go.
Oh.
Yes.
Julian, it's not a gift for you, just showing you what it's
just showing you what it is.
I understand.
What is it, Ian?
It's the new Qatari Spitfire, 32nd scale.
And your thoughts?
I've only basically had a brief look through it because I got it late yesterday.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks good. I haven't had a really deep dive into it, but from what I can see, it's a Wingnut Wings kit, really.
Yeah. Well, Wingnut Wings-esque.
Yes.
You look
at the instructions and you go, yeah okay, yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. They're very much exactly like a Wingnut Wings instruction book, but yeah, I was quite happy. They're not cheap.
And the scale is 32nd scale?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big kit.
It's a nice kit,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, I'm quite happy with that little purchase. So, that was my purchases for the week. So the local hobby shop saw me coming in late yesterday.
Oh, here comes the whale.
Here comes the whale. They all rub their hands together at the hobby man. And
Julian, what have you been up to this week? Any purchases or anything?
Let me think. I might have, but I might have forgotten. I've been buying so much stuff lately. Both, just modelling stuff that I was like, oh, I need that, and also just stuff for my trip.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, just little odds and ends and things, and like I've things showing up on the doors. I'm like, what's this? I don't even remember what this one is. Is this the other thing? Oh, that's right, I did buy that. They're all arriving at different times and from different places and things. So yeah,
cool bananas.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting time anyway. I did buy some decals and things for the Falcon. I've got some yellow sort of number type decals that I can put on it.
Okay.
Yeah, bright yellow. It should be. If I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah.
But it should.
Oh, you could have asked me. I've got sheets of Luftwaffe numbers.
No. These are big numbers. I wanted big numbers.
Like
hopefully. Yeah, and it has to be in like a sci-fi kind of font kind of thing.
Oh, right. I get you. Yeah.
So
I get you.
I wanted something along those lines that had that sort of sci-fi space.
Yep.
Space look,
Yes, spicy.
Yeah.
1999.
In other news, because I did watch the results for Adepticon.
Oh yeah.
So Adepticon is the big Warhammer and wargaming convention that they have in the US, and there was I watched a very comprehensive video on that event from Faux Hammer.
All right, yeah.
And it's a big event. That's a really big event. It makes the US Nationals look small.
Really? It's that big?
Yeah,
wow.
It's massive.
That is huge.
I mean, you have to remember that's a whole generation of modelers who are in their prime, I suppose you could say.
Yes.
At the height. Like if you were to sort of turn the clock back on military modeling to when we were all in our 30s, or when you guys were in your 30s, not me.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been a lot more models around, and in this modern era where you've got the internet to connect people, it would have been a much more concerted effort to get together and have a big show of it.
Yep.
So they had the Golden Demon Awards, which is their big sort of painting competition.
Where when you win, you're allowed to hold a sword for about a minute before you have to hand it back. Ooh, look at me! I'll get to hold this sword for a minute. Ooh,
I don't know how that came about. I'm sure there's someone out there who could tell me. But it's an interesting little.
I'm just waiting for someone to get handed the sword and then they're not giving it back to me. You're taking it back. I'll jab you. Boy, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah. He turns up with a scabbard. Yeah. He's like, I'm taking this one home.
Try and stop me.
And then they have obviously a big vendor floor, and then they have I think that because I believe the guy said that they booked out the entire convention center because they just filled the vendor area only took up like a quarter or something or less of all the space that they had, because the rest of it's just all wargaming tables and
that's where
games.
all the space would go into those big wargaming tables.
And the whole place was just filled with it.
Yeah. That'd be a cool place to go and visit, or a cool show to go and visit.
I would like to visit one of those kind of events.
I went years ago. I went to one they had in Canberra, and no, was it Canberra? No, it was somewhere in New South Wales. That's right. It was in New South Wales, and it was like the big Australian Warhammer event where they had like this massive hall, and like half it looked like more than 3/4 of it was just tables. And they had like vendors on the side and so forth. And geez, we spent money that day.
I bet you did.
Geez, I spent money that day.
Don't you always?
Yeah. Yes.
I wonder how that
single person with an income. Yes, I always spend freaking money.
Yeah. So I would like to attend one of those events just so I could sit on a decently good and experienced match of people playing the game.
Yep.
Because every time I've sort of had the opportunity to sort of get into it, and it's like, oh, do you want to have a game versus you and me kind of thing? I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing, and it would be nice to have a bit of incentive to build my own Warhammer army type thing, so I can at least sit it there in my cabinet and be able to look across and go, yep, I've got one of those.
Well, you only need to build up to 2,000 points army, so it's not like you get do a
what?
huge...
2,000?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, it's all you have to build up to.
Oh, build up to,
to play a game. Yeah, to play.
But even that'd cost you well over $1,000.
No, not that much. No. You'd be surprised how.
I don't even know how much. It depends.
Well, if you want to field a Titan,
I suppose it depends on like what force you're building and how new the models are and blah 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 blah. It goes on, right? Because I mean, like you could have like just a handful of Space Marines, or you could have like 9,000 orcs, right? And that's probably how it equates to 2,000 points.
A Deborah Harry army.
Well, in the future, we've got, and it's going to be a shameless plug, we're actually going to have an episode on Warhammer, and we're going to be having a couple of people who not only paint the figures and play the game, but one of the people actually works in one of the shops here. So,
oh, okay, cool,
nice.
So that's coming down the road in the future, probably July, August. We'll be on the show, so it'll be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome, yeah. That'd be awesome. Very
nice.
cool.
Anyway. Just thinking what I've been up to, just working my way through that darn rocket that I'm building at the moment.
Oh, speaking of rockets, your base is nearly done.
Oh, thank you.
I was got to purchase some Danish oil.
Oh, beautiful.
Jeez, that stuff's not cheap,
isn't it?
Because of Denmark.
Yeah. Like a litre of Danish oil costs you over $80.
Seriously, I bet it'll last you for ages, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you need that dark colour for the space subjects.
Yeah, and that's why I suggested to you to rather than do like a wood tone with the base, I'll go a black.
Yeah,
especially with space. A black base would look so much better on a
very dark space. Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right, I'm looking forward to that. So I've been struggling with this Mac 2 kit that I'm building, and
we did warn you. We did warn you.
It did, but and it's interesting.
I'll tell you what. I've seen that kit, right? So I was looking at it last meeting that we had, club meeting, and it doesn't look like plastic. It looks like plaster.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah.
Like, because it comes with a base, right? That was it round or oval shaped base type thing that comes with it. It looks like plaster. It looks like it was cast plaster.
It's funny, once you sort of highly polish the plastic, you get rid of that sort of roughness, so it does actually look like a polystyrene.
Does it?
Yeah, it does, and I'll show you later on.
So where are they made? What country are they made in?
It's a French company, I believe, off the top of my head, and I think the reason why the plastic looks the way it does is because of the pressure that it's injected in it, and I think that plays a large part in how it looks, why it looks.
Or I think it might have something to do maybe with the company still using 1960s technology.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that if you dialed in the actual injection molding machine, you get a better result than what we've got there. So it looks like they've just set it, push the button, told the do 800, 1,000 sort of cycles, and they haven't sort of bothered sort of watching or controlling it as it's gone through. And you got some part warpage there, and I think by and large the actual die itself that was perhaps used for it is quite sound, because some of the parts do fit quite well together once you clean them up, which sort of suggests to me that it's the actual process of manufacturing
and the molds are old and shitty.
Well, yeah. It's interesting. I'd be curious to know whether they actually used a stainless steel mold or an aluminium. Well, most of them aluminium these days as well. Anyway,
I thought they just jammed something in the dirt and then just dumped the plastic in there.
No.
Yes, it looks like it.
Well, certainly, like the like some of those elements had like almost like a. Yeah, what cast steel looks like.
Yes, it felt like that when you touched it. It felt very sort of chalky, and which is odd for a polystyrene. It had a sort of chalky.
That sounds like a really bad plastic mix.
Yeah, it's chalky and it's white in colour. That's what gives me the impression that it's plaster.
Oh, it's actually grey in colour. I don't know where you're getting your
really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking at it on a white table and it was like kind of like the same colour.
It's very light grey.
Yeah, it's a very light grey, but that's what plaster looks like, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
In any case, it's not a...
Anywho, rather
it
you
doesn't
than
look,
me, Dave.
It doesn't look like the plastic kits your mum bought for you.
That's a fact. That is a fact. All right, let's have a very short break. Listen to one of our sponsors, and we'll be back to catch up with Mailbag. Back very shortly.
Hi, I'm Scott, the creator and owner of the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's largest manufacturer of hobby paints. Our premium airbrush-ready acrylic lacquer paints are designed specifically for use on plastics, with a comprehensive range covering all popular modelling subjects including military, aircraft, rail, auto, sci-fi and more. And not only that, but we also have a wide selection of essential hobby tools and now, infinite colour, and new range of water-based paints for miniatures. So to check out our range and to find your closest retailer, please visit our website at scalemodeler.com.au. So when quality matters, choose SMS Paints.
Okay, we're back. Let's have a look at what's in the mailbag. There's quite a few come in this week. The first one is David Waples, who writes in, I haven't finished the last episode yet, but I could relate to the whoops theme. This time every year I do one or two, what's that, Chilby?
Chilby.
Chilby.
It should be Chibly, I think.
Cute, egg, whatever I want.
Oh, he's basically talking about the eggplanes.
Yeah, whatever I want, whatever you want to call them subjects, but go to town in the details. This is the Ming Lexington that he converted to an Uber USS Saratoga. So after I finished the deck, he reached for the pipette, and to his dismay, there was exactly one drop of lacquer thinner at the end of that pipette.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
Just as sure as a Japanese Zero egg plane load with a 500 kilo bomb that landed right in the deck, left to the centre line amidships. So sadly the deck was fouled. So to add insult to injury, David goes on, my air wing of 6 aircraft were on the flight line being serviced when a tidal wave of lacquer thinner was knocked over by some thoughtless sailor, destroying 2 of her aircraft.
Oh.
Sadly, sweet Sarah is left with only 2 F4Fs, 1 TBD and 1 SBD. So even with all that calamity, the mighty Sarah is out of dry dock and is now underway in time for Easter. So, and he sent us a picture of his egg ship, which is of the Sarah, and it's certainly very good. In fact, I was quite impressed with how it turned out. It looks gorgeous.
It looks very nice.
And I think it's actually, I asked him to post it. I'm pretty sure he posted it to On Your Bench.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it on there too, yeah.
So go and check that out. Really, really, really good. Next one comes from Paul Budzik. He writes, hello, Dave. Caught your podcast and didn't realise that I had not redone the video for my Scale Model Workshop channel, so here you go. Basically, I was talking about how I was struggling with getting a proper sprue goo, and Paul wrote in showing me his sprue goo video. So just go and check out his Scale Model Workshop channel to have a look at that.
It's great. That is one of the best informative channels out there.
Well, it's funny. I spoke with Paul, and we're organising to get him on the show. So it's probably next episode, I think we're going to get him on, which is going to be
that's
really
going to be
awesome.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Also, just for us and everybody else, he just writes he hasn't been putting anything up lately because he's working on a revised website that's better organised, more cohesive, and a little bit of a different focus. So he'll also be posting his new videos and his upcoming Scale Model Workshop Patreon channel.
Oh, awesome.
So we'll hear more about that when we actually have a chat with Paul in hopefully the next episode. So stay tuned for that. And thanks, Paul, for reaching out and showing me how to do sprue goo properly. Gavin Lee, who was one of our most recent Patreon supporters, writes in just saying he just started work on an F-Toys 1 to 1250 scale ship.
Be tiny.
He's in his early 50s and his eyesight is not what it used to be, so he's going to have to start switching the larger scales. The problem is that he lives in a small condo and doesn't have display areas, especially for 1/35th scale helicopters, which is what he's really passionate about.
Yeah, because they take up a massive footprint, those helicopters.
But to be doing 1 to 1250
1 to 1250.
Yeah.
That's
Jeez, man, I'd even move up.
tiny.
I'd even move it to 1/700 scale. That'd be a lot better.
Like I'm thinking like one of our regulars.
No, which
I'm
one?
trying to remember. Oh, God, now it's totally...
Mark
Box.
Mark Box is doing that.
Yeah.
That tiny little Japanese ship and like a matchstick's bigger than this thing. It's like... That just blows my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next one comes from Barry Fleet, who writes, you were talking in recent shows about shelf queens, and it prompted me to finish this one. I built this frog, oh my God, a frog kit. I built this frog HMS Vanguard in 1968 out of the box, and it was left at my mother's house.
I had that kit and I gave it away.
When my mother passed away in 2002, I discovered it in the house and brought it back to Canada. By this stage, the masts and most of the AA guns and directors had been lost. This year, I discovered the UK company, Atlantic Models, made a PE set for this kit, so I finished the ship with the beautiful PE set along with brass rod and evergreen plastic, and have repainted the entire ship. I guess the reality is you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, but you can try. Love the show. Regards, Barry.
Oh, awesome, Barry.
So, and he's actually posted some pictures
has he?
as
Yeah,
well.
let's have a look at some photos.
And he's done a magnificent job, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Given the fact this was an old frog kit from, what did he say, 1968?
68, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's come up.
Yeah, that's come up an
job.
absolute treat. Well done, mate. That's fantastic.
I do love
All
my
the
ship
rigging
models.
and, yeah. No,
Love
very
my
nice.
ship models, yeah. Anyway. Matt Hill writes in, hey guys, love the new look of the studio. Even the audio and the Facebook clips sounded great. I hope I haven't spent any more of the AI fan mail reader. Hearing Dave battle his way through each mailbag Falcon update is a highlight of the pod for me. In fact, the only way it could be improved if you got someone with Tourette's to read it instead.
Can be organised.
The closest to that would be the Sprue Cutters Union podcast.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, Dave, you do a great job. I can't imagine how challenging it would be. I've shared a couple of ideas with you in the past, so here's another one. Aftermarket instructions. Either aftermarket manufacturers include a full print of new full instructions, I know copyright would be an issue there, with their aftermarket kit, showing where their parts fit in, or somebody goes full rogue and does aftermarket instructions for kits in general. I run a group for the 135th scale Apache builds, and it's become very apparent that the instructions are missing whole steps completely. I suggest someone with the smarts should do a rewrite. What are your thoughts? Is it too niche, too hard? Anyway, just another one of my crazy ideas. That's from Matt in Tasmania, Hobart, Tasmania.
Oh, look, I agree. Some of the instructions you get with some photo which can be very
Vague.
leave you wondering where you're going. There's a couple of companies that do really nice photo, which I'm not going to name them because I like their stuff, but their instructions are freaking woeful. But yeah, some decent instructions would be freaking nice with some of them.
I think the responsibility resides on those who are doing the upgrades or whatever it is they're manufacturing and sending out. It's behooven of them, how'd you like that for a word?
Behooven, yes.
On them to actually produce decent instructions showing exactly what to cut and where it needs to go and how to finesse it.
Well, because I know some companies just give you like a photocopied sheet and they've got this bit's for there and this bit's for there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these companies have the impression that you know everything about the subject you're working on. You know every nut and bolt.
Yeah.
Thus, their instructions are so freaky. I got a few of them for ship models, and I'm looking at them, and I got like, this is a radar set. Oh yeah, okay. So this radar set goes there. Well, where?
Yeah.
Doesn't actually tell exactly where. It just vaguely says this is that radar. Well, where does this radar go?
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything like the kit part. So now I'm really confused. Which then comes down. Then you've got to spend the next couple of days doing research.
Yep.
Look, people go to university and have to, there's communications courses to teach people on how to communicate things like this, because a lot of us are really bad at teaching and really bad at showing people how things are done. It's not easy. There's definitely a skill to it, to writing an instructions manual.
Oh, it would be, yeah, definitely.
You end up having to go, well, if you were to actually sit down with these people who write these sort of instructions, you would be saying, okay, well, you say put this there. Well, what am I putting there? And where am I putting it? And is it in the correct order?
Yep.
And a lot of times too, like I'm finding lately, a lot of times, a lot of the photo which you get given, you really don't need. it's not much of an improvement on the kit part.
Yeah, it's almost like they're just padding their product.
Yeah, padding their product out. Well, lately nowadays, there's a few kits I've been working on, and like I've left half the photo etch behind because the kit parts are perfect. Why replace it?
I'm going to make a big call here. I can see a future where there won't be resin parts. It won't be photo etch parts at all anymore. It'll all be 3D printed.
No, I don't agree with that.
I do.
No, I reckon because you still need it for like rails for ships and that.
No, I reckon you can get to the point in 1350 you could successfully print rails.
Geez, that'd be brittle as anything, wouldn't they?
Well,
it would be fragile. It'd be very fragile.
It'd be fragile, but it wouldn't be. At least it would be a bit more 3D rather than sort of the flat rails that you get on a. Especially even the 1 to 200 scale ships. I think it'd work particularly well there.
Yeah.
A lot of photo etch is used not just because it's thin, but also because it's strong.
Yeah,
for its scale. So like you can do really small things in great detail, and still have the strength to stand up to being manipulated.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it still has a place. Like you can't, for example, you wouldn't want to print a grill for a 1/35 scale armor. Like say, the grills that are like a mesh.
Ah, yes, mesh.
Right, because that would be incredibly
yeah,
fragile.
yeah,
like you wouldn't be able to touch it almost.
Yeah. You're right. And photo etch is good for that sort of stuff. Yeah. All right, well...
I've convinced you, haven't I?
No, well, maybe a little bit. Let's go on to the next one. Brian McGuinness writes in, good morning, gents. Took a few months hiatus from modelling, and you fine lads, but now finally catching up. I have a combo of shelf queens and whoopses. I started the Revell Monogram 1/44th scale Saturn V about 2 years ago, and it wound up with the first stage assembled on the shelf. Finally, after 2 years, I started putting it together as I started on the upper stage that holds the lunar module and realised I was short a piece. Oh, curses. I hate when that happens. After turning the box inside out and begging the bin to produce the part, I said, forget it, and now I'm just going to 3D print that part of the rocket. Curious how you guys would have solved this in the olden days if binning it was not an option. Have a good one, Brian, and here's some of the pictures for reference.
So he's missing a section. Back in the old days, we would have had to just try and scratch build it out of styrene.
Or buy a second kit to
buy a second kit, but for something like that would be a very expensive kit for one part.
It's a 1/144 scale, so perhaps not as expensive as the Dragon kit for the Saturn V rocket, but still expensive nonetheless. But yeah, I don't know what I would have done. Well, the other thing we would have done, obviously, is reach out to the manufacturer and there's a bit there. Yeah. Reach out to the manufacturer and see if you can get one in. Airfix is good for that. I'll got to tip my hat to them. They're good for if you got a short part or a part that's missing. Other manufacturers, not so much. As Ian and I have found out in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thanks, Brian. Really appreciate that. This one's for Julian. Listening to some of the older podcasts where you were talking about the new Tamiya kit and what a marvel of engineering it is, I would have to agree with you, and I thought I would share my build with you. That's from Jason Works from Manitoba, Canada. And
Manitoba.
He's actually sent pictures of his Datsun...
Julian, you know what it is?
Yeah, I do know what it is. I want to see if he knows what it is.
Some sort of Datsun 200Z?
It's a Datsun 240Z.
A 240Z.
The Fair Lady Z, as they say.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, in the red. He went with the red.
Oh, I love the way he's actually done the steering wheel with the wood grain on that. That is absolutely stunning.
If I had to guess, I would say that he might have done the old oil paint and drag the brush through it kind of trick.
Yep. That works
maybe
really well.
It's a nice shine he's got in the body too.
Actually, that kit comes with quite a bit of detail underneath there. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's it's quite a detailed kit. Yeah.
So it's the Tamiya one.
Yes, that's the Tamiya one. It's great. I don't know how. I mean, I guess Tamiya would have got it right, especially when they can just literally
Walk across the road.
Yeah, exactly. Walk across the road and say, "Hey, Nissan, give us your best example of a perfect straight from the factory Datsun 240Z."
Well, hey, give me the plans for the car.
Yeah, exactly.
The drawings, yeah.
They can do that sort of thing. But one thing that's always sort of been curious to me is the idea that painting the body color on the underside of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because at some point most cars went to insulating that with the
black
rubbery sort of
the bitumen. No, he's done a nice job, Jason. Done a good job.
Really good. Going to be very happy with that.
Very nice model.
Indeed. All right, that brings us to the end of mailbag. Of course, if you want to send us an email, email address is onthebench64@gmail.com. Love hearing from you, so please drop us a line. And if you don't want us to read it out on air, I should say, just put that in bold letters.
Bold letters at the top.
Yes. And more than happy to hear what you guys have got to say. Let's have a very short break, and then we'll go and listen to
the pigeon.
The pigeon, or the falcon. Back in a minute.
Pidgey.
Hey everyone, it's Chris at Inside the Armour Publications. I'd like to tell you about what I've got going on at ITA pubs right now. First, I've got a huge restock from Tetra models, including the Coyote TSV, Jackal 2 and M1278 Heavy Guns Carrier PE sets. The Akagi PE set for the 1700 Hasegawa kit is back in stock. I've got new stuff coming from Wingsy kits, including a restock of their ever popular BF109s. And also I've still got plenty of copies of Models for Ukraine Volume 2. Please do buy that if you would like to help with humanitarian aid for Ukraine. In addition, I've also got the F4, 148 and 172nd decal sets for 13th TFS at Udon Air Force Base in the late 60s, which are fantastic for your 172nd or 148 Phantoms. So head on over to InsideTheArmour.com or check out ITA discounts on eBay to find out more about these great products and how you can get your hands on them.
And we're back with news from the Falcon. Right in. Hi, Dave, Ian and Julian. Let's start off with aircraft news. Wingsy Kits will be releasing a 148 scale Swiss ME-109E. It's not just the standard lofty 109E with new markings. Wingsy have put in the effort and made all the changes needed for a Swiss E version. Noted 109 expert Lynn Ritke gave it a 10 out of 10. So Wingsy have done their homework, and this will be available soon.
If he gives it a 10 out of 10, it's going to be a damn good kit then.
Never heard of Lynn Ritke.
So what is a Swiss meal? What, they give you like a cheese board or what?
No, chocolate. It comes with chocolate.
Chocolate fondue set.
And the yodeler.
Fondue set.
And the yodeler.
It's got the cuckoo clock and
the cuckoo clock.
Sova M have made a couple of announcements. Coming soon from them is a 144th scale Antonov A26 Curl. That's going to be a big kit. In 72nd scale, are 3 boxings based on the Beechjet 400A. There's going to be the Beechjet 400A business jet. There's also going to be a Raytheon T1A Jayhawk jet trainer and a T400 jet trainer in Japanese Air Self-Defense Force service livery. RS models will be releasing 4 72nd scale boxings of the Heinkel HE-146C reconnaissance aircraft in April. 2 boxings are for the Heinkel HE-46C in Luftwaffe service. Another is for the HE-46E-UN in Hungarian service. And lastly, a HE-46C in Spanish Civil War liveries. Each kit contains markings for 4 aircrafts. Special Hobby are about to release a new boxing of the 48 scale Grumman Guardian, the AF-2 firebomber, markings for 3 aircraft. Well, I know some guys who are really into the firebomber stuff, so that'll be really, really well looked for. There will also be a new boxing of the 72nd scale KI-43 Oscar, Nakajima KI-43 to KO/OSTUS.
Otsu.
And Japanese allies with markings for Manchukuo and Thai Air Forces.
Oh, cool. You should be able to put the elephants on the wings. Well, they did. The Taiwans had the red rectangle, the black elephant, or white elephant. I can't remember.
The Infinity Models 32nd scale Aichi D3A1 Aichi D31A Val is now available. €96, not including VAT. The marking options for 2 aircraft that participated in the Pearl Harbor attack, one for the aircraft carrier Kaga and the other one from the Suru.
Sorry.
Infinity are also offering 7 detail sets, them being the folded wings, engine exhausts, an engine by itself, 3D printed machine guns, photo etched detail set, coloured position lights, and also a weapons set. And you can buy all 7 for the princely sum of €70.
So basically for €170, which would be close to 250 Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable then. That's pretty reasonable because it's going to be a decent sized kit.
There is. HK Models will release a second boxing of their 32nd scale Douglas AG-20 Havoc. The AG-20 Havoc in Europe has 3 marking options, all for the same aircraft at different times in its service. I think I might prefer markings for 3 completely different aircraft, but it's a novel idea which might appeal to some.
I wonder which one they're going to do. I wonder if it's going to be Green Hornet. It's always been my favourite A20G, the Green Hornet. I love the looks of that one.
Clear Prop are working on a new 72nd scale kit of the de Havilland DH-88 Comet racing plane.
Ooh.
No CAD or anything yet, but the box art is very nice. Why would you do the box art first without sort of showing the CAD? It's just interesting.
That's very interesting because there's already a 72nd scale kit of that plane, and it's a good one from what's the mob? The guys from Hungary. They only make it in resin.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I forgot what their name is, but yeah, it'd be an amazing plane from them. So that's what they're trying to top. And Clear Prop are known for expensive kits. So
yeah.
It'd be interesting what an overpriced plastic kit is compared to a resin kit.
Yeah, totally agree.
Indeed. Avis Models will be upscaling their 72nd scale kit of the Nemeth Parasol to 148 scale in coming months.
Nemeth Parasol.
I don't know what type of aircraft that is.
I'm going to have a look.
All right, you look at that while I go to the next one. Dora Wing 72nd scale Nurdurin. It's the C-46 Norseman is inching towards its release date.
Oh, okay, now I know what a Nemeth Parasol is.
I'll share with it what it is.
Well, basically it looks like a... it looks like a biplane, but it's got a big circular wing on the top of it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
The one when it's a circular wing, it doesn't mean like vertically; it means horizontally. It looks like
a big saucer on top of the aircraft.
It's like a gyrocopter, but it's got a what do you call it on top?
Radome.
It looks like an AWACS, like a biplane version of an AWACS or something. Yeah.
Back to Dora Wings. Dora has shown a full build-up test shot of the kit, and it's looking impressive. It will also be quite large for a single-engine 72nd scale kit. It will indeed. Fine Molds have announced the new kits they will be showing at the
Shizuoka.
Thank you. Hobby show. You'll be able to see these, Julian.
Yes.
Among them will be the all-new 72nd scale kit of the Japanese Self-Defense Force, Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, the F-15J. The F-15J Hot Scramble 1984 initial service, and the F-15J J-MSIP, which is a modernisation repair machine. There will also be limited edition boxings of the 72nd scale Mitsubishi F-2 fighter and the Japanese Air Force Self-Defense Force F-2A Veer Guardian 23, and also a 2B version of that, which will be the Veer Guardian 23 also. I'm guessing Veer Guardian has some sort of military exercise or something like that. I don't know. Falcon, you're writing the narrative here. All 4 of those kits will be available from September. Last time they mentioned Dream Model have announced a new 72nd scale aircraft kit with the clue that it would be a fixed-wing aircraft. To absolutely no one's surprise, given the very obvious clue, the subject turned out to be a Mirage 2000N. Honestly, what else could it have been? Make it a bit harder for us next time, dream model. Naval news. Fine Moulds
She's a worker.
news included 2 new 1/350 scale ships.
Ooh.
Woo! There's going to be the IJN destroyer Akibono
Yep.
and the IJN destroyer Sagri.
Sagiri.
There you go. No idea if they are the same class of destroyer, but they look quite similar.
Oh, cool.
Excellent. Rumours section. Oh, this is a new one.
Oh, we've had it like a leaked previous episode.
True. So here comes the rumours. There is talk of a Czech modelling website that RS Models are working on a 48 scale Mark IIA Bristol Bulldog.
Oh, cool. That's a lovely looking plane.
In 48 scale.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nothing like a bit of British silver wings.
The aircraft is only represented at present by the elderly impact kit and in 150 scale.
By Smurf.
Smurf. Yes.
So this would be nice to have a modern quality kit available of that particular subject. I mentioned last time, still in rumour section, that Armour Hobby 48 scale Hawker Hurricane might be released by Edward instead. Looks like that rumour was wrong, as Armour Hobby have said they will be releasing the kit themselves in May.
Oh, cool.
However, one part of the rumour that looks to be correct is that Edward are said to be working on an all-new 48 scale P39 to replace their existing kits.
Okay. I really didn't think there was much wrong with their existing kit except for the trailing edges being as thick as anything.
A lot of the interior stuff needs to be built out of photo etch, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right, because I built that kit. It's a lovely... I really enjoyed building that Edward P400.
Yeah, but see, they could do so much better now. I remember that's from that dark age where they were over-engineering their kits to...
Oh, right, yep.
Like the early Focke-Wulf.
Should be a shame, because I already got a P400, so I don't need another one.
This one's for Julian. Civil vehicles. Meng have just announced a 1/12 scale kit of the McLaren MP4/4 1988 Formula One racing car.
Does look nice.
The new tool features carbon fibre and metal effect decals and metal parts for the wishbones, steering track rods, pull rods and steering column. The wheels are steerable, and there are markings for cars driven by Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. The kit will be released in July. Now, it's interesting that Meng
So get out your red and white paint.
It's interesting that Meng are moving into Formula One car stuff, which traditionally...
Well, didn't they say they were going to go in a totally different direction?
They did. This has traditionally been Tamiya's sort of stomping ground.
Yeah.
So
I guess, yeah. But I mean, like Tamiya hasn't really touched on the 1/12 scale kits much.
Oh, they had a few.
Exactly, that's the point. They've only got a few.
And the one kit always was bleeding. I never got my hands on when I was younger. No, not that interested me anymore was the Tyrrell 6-wheeler. They had in 1/12 scale.
That thing is a cool car.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, that is a cool car.
The Tyrrell 6-wheeler.
now I just saw somebody post on Facebook they're building that kit.
Oh, really? The old Tamiya 1/12 scale one?
Yeah.
I remember building the old Ferrari back in the days before when I realised that
Ferraris
suck.
So, the six-wheeler, you know why it's got those little tiny windows on the side of the cockpit?
No. So you can see your wheels?
Yes, exactly. Because what would happen is because the wheels were smaller diameter at the front, they would spin faster and they would come away from the hub.
Oh, right. Okay.
That was one of their early problems. So they used to paint like a stripe on the inside, and if they were able to see that separation coming, they'd be like, ooh, because they would
have to come in for a pit and change tyres.
Because they would come away from the hub and deflate when they were going down the straights.
Wow.
Oh, well, there you go. I learned something new.
Interesting. If the MP4/4 isn't your cup of tea, then you might like what Italeri is serving up. They are about to release a 1/12 scale McLaren MP4/2C 1986. The kit, which will feature carbon fibre effects, decals, photo etch parts, rubber tyres and removable body cowlings, has markings for cars driven by Alain Prost and Keke Rosberg in the 86 Formula One season.
It's interesting that all of these, both these companies seem to sort of have the same idea that the mid to late 1980s were like this golden age for Formula One, right?
Well, I thought it really was, really. At least there was competition.
And the two companies involved, it's Italeri and Meng, who could not be further apart in terms of engineering quality.
And the other interesting thing too is obviously that was the age still of cigarette advertising. So
Yes.
it'd be interesting to see how they tackle that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
very
I was
interesting.
thinking about that too. How would they tackle? I suppose the only really way to tackle that these days, because I don't know what it's like in other countries, but I know here in Australia that's a big no-no. They'd probably have to do it the same way they do swastikas now on aircraft kits, where they probably split it in half.
Yeah, and
So you don't-
you get to a
you
sample.
get to-
yeah.
And for that way, you could
Yeah.
have like I think those cars are Marlboro, they're red and white, so they'll be Marlboro badged. So you'd have MARL on one decal and then BRO on another decal, put them on opposite sides of the page.
Yeah, but remember that. I mean, that the swastika thing is a political thing, whereas cigarette sponsorship is not, and you can easily sort of.
It's a health thing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's historical, so that has more weight in this issue than it does on the political
It's interesting
issue.
because and it's funny because I was on the webpage for Model Expo this year because again we're sponsoring some categories there, and I was looking at the rules in regards to swastikas, and the Model Expo committee have approached it that so long as it is in historical context and backed up by photographic evidence, it's suitable to be entered. But if you were doing, say, let's say a Mecca or something like that and just wanted to whack a swastika on it because you're doing a German version, what if type thing, then that's a no-no. So, and I think that...
I see that point, yep.
And that sticks, I think, to the letter of the law for our state laws here in regards to what you can display in regards to that sort of stuff. But it's interesting... I'm yet to see anything from any modelling show. It talks about decals that have cigarette advertising, whereas they've been quite specific about sort of Nazi sort of stuff, but they haven't been specific about that side of things. So it's interesting thought.
Interesting, yeah. My own mind to it is sort of like you should either go all or nothing. So if you're going to do it for one symbol, you should do it for a whole bunch of symbols, right?
Yeah.
Or not at all.
Yeah, and again, this is a sort of sidebar, but you don't get the same sort of legal stuff coming through with the Japanese rising sun, and yet they were sort of just
Well, yeah, there's
Or the Communist Red Star.
or the Communist Red Star because they were just as
or more recently the Z.
well, yeah, I know, yes,
And then you got like Islamic State and other terrorist organizations that have cropped up over the last 100 years.
Yeah. No, you're raising very good points there, Julian, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, yes, the swastika represents to our community, a very dark time in the West's history with, extermination of, millions of people. But certainly the Soviets under Stalin, they exterminated even more people
The Japanese in China.
The Japanese in China, and it's just.
But at the same time, like if you sort of open the doors to like banning all of these symbols, I mean, how long would it take before some people started saying, "Oh, I want this symbol in there as well because it aligns with my specific type of political ideology, and it's really something that's not that heinous or anything at all."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's say it's like, I want to put this particular football team's logo in there because I don't like this team, and things like that's an extreme example, but I mean, who's to be the arbiter of what should be banned and what shouldn't?
It's a slippery
Interesting
slope.
discussion, and I don't think that I've got the nous to sort of necessarily have a solution for it.
Fortunately, like the swastika is particularly volatile that I think if you just keep it to that, it prevents the more extreme scenarios that could play out in the long term.
And I think, and for the listeners listening to us around the world, certainly in Victoria, we've had a bit of a rise in recent time of very, very, very small sort of
the
neo-Nazi sort of groups,
freaking
which has sort of led to this sort of backlash at government level and sort of saying no. And
Well, they had it quite recently. Had a big protest with a whole heap of
With
Nazis
that
on Parliament, the
doing
steps of
Nazi
Parliament
salute.
House doing a Nazi salute.
Yeah.
Like, what sort of morons are they? They're all dressed in black with their faces covered up.
Well,
doing
yeah,
the
I mean,
Nazi salute. Well, yeah, you're a bunch of muppets, aren't you?
If you're the kind of person who thinks it's a bit silly to ban the swastika on models of any kind, then the person you should be pointing the finger at is not the authorities who are banning it. It would be the people who are bringing it back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because most of the, like, people from like all through the 90s, they were like, oh, it's just a part of history. It's just a symbol from history. Learn from it, move on, kind of thing. But now people are dragging it out into the daylight again and giving it more power than it used to have.
Yeah. I'm not for history being whitewashed or whited out or redacted. But by the same token, I'm very strident on people not taking on and using stuff from the past to sort of promote their hates.
Well, see, this is the
in
thing, right?
today's world.
It's a contentious subject for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not clear cut. It's always going to be a whole bunch of grey areas, and that's why it's so argued about.
Yeah. Thankfully, our lawmakers in this state, they said that you can use it so long as it's in historical context. But if I was to sort of take it and put it on the side of my car and drive around, that's not in historical
and
context.
also won't be long before you'll be taking your car to the panel.
Well, it'd be illegal for me to do it. Yeah.
Because people will be throwing rocks at your car.
I think we've got the balance right.
Yeah,
I do. But it'd be interesting to see, as I said at the beginning of this sort of
what?
sidebar, what's going to be the play with cigarette advertising on models.
You know what cracks me up?
What?
Like in Southeast Asia, they'll have all kinds of sort of stuff with swastikas, and not in the
Well, didn't I remember seeing that years ago? They had the Hitler bar.
Yeah, there was a Hitler bar.
Yeah,
There's like
it's
a
like, really?
There was like a restaurant that was Hitler themed or something like that.
Yeah, that was
and
it. Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
a person at a cosplay competition that dressed up in like a Nazi outfit.
Seriously,
They
man.
don't have any idea of
Well,
like the.
because you think Southeast Asia, Nazism didn't really affect them.
Well, what about that in Mongolia? There's a group up there where a Nazi group, and it's sort of tied in with heavy metal and everything. It's quite it's flourishing.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a
Not
bizarre
my
world.
favourite Mongolian band, The Who.
No, it's not.
I mean,
They're more traditional.
They're completely ignorant of the sort of historical implications and things like that we have in the West.
Yeah. Whereas all of us, we pretty much, well, especially me, my parents lived through it.
Yeah.
My parents,
Yeah.
my mother was taken from her home because the Nazis refused food into the Netherlands, so my mother had to move freaking into the country, move with these strangers, so she could have a bite to eat.
Yeah. Well,
My grandfather got shot in the bum
yeah.
for stealing a lamb
Yeah.
and had to hide in the cellar for a year.
Lying down, or he wouldn't be able to
They
sit
wouldn't be
down.
able to sit for
No,
a
he
while.
had to lay on his stomach for a while.
And well,
But he always told me he never pedalled as fast as he did on his push bike when that bullet struck.
my dad was 8 years old, and during the Battle of Britain, and watching the all the aircraft fly over because he lived at Rye in England.
Oh, yeah, right on the
watch
coast.
watch them all come over. So anyway, we've digressed. Let's dive back into.
Yes, I know. We went on quite a adventure into the
It was.
countryside for a little bit off the beaten track.
All right, right to military vehicles.
Military vehicles, yes. What has been a pretty quiet couple of weeks. Oh, jeez, I'm so excited to talk about this. Probably the biggest news has been the AFV Club's announcement of the completely new tool version of their 35th scale Australian Army M113R MRV. It's great news for most modelers of Aussie armour, but if you can't help feel for all those people that swapped one of their new and very expensive Tamiya 48 scale F4 Phantom kits for the original old and new obsolete MRV kit, must be tough. Okay, so there was a guy in our club who had the old version of the MRV, of the MM113.
A1, yep.
And I wanted it. And he was being very reticent about what sort of price, so I said, I'll swap a Tamiya F4 Phantom kit for one, the new one. And he agreed.
And now you're stuck with that old one.
And now I'm stuck with the old one.
Can you hear that, Julian? That's my little fiddle playing.
Yeah.
My little violin.
But hey, I got what I needed, and I'll go out and purchase a couple of these AFV Club ones.
Yeah, because you can't just have one.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, it's basically an M113 with a Scorpion turret whacked on top.
Yeah, they're probably the coolest of the lot.
Yeah. So yeah, very cool. Let's continue. Mini Art are releasing their 35th scale 7.5 centimeter Pack 40 ammo boxes with shells. Come with a set of 2. Also, 35th scale US stake body truck G506 is being released. And in 1/24 scale, a German traffic tractor D5832 model 1950. There's a choice of 4 colour schemes: red, grey, blue and green. Hobby Boss releases for May include a 35th scale German Iguana PSB-214 bridge layer and a 1/16th scale Early Tiger 1. A lot of 1/16 stuff still coming out. Trumpeter will be releasing in 72nd scale a kit of the German SL56 Elephant towing a 56-ton semi-trailer.
Oh, those are huge things, those elephants.
That's why it's in 72nd scale. According to Fine Milf's website, did I read that right?
Sorry, it should be Fine Molds, he says.
According to Fine Mold's website, sorry, jeez. Yeah, don't know why the autocorrect did that, but anyway. And I'm reading what the Falcon has written here. I'm not making this up. Anyway, Fine Mold listed new for
Shizuoka.
limited edition kit of the 35th scale Type 95 light tank, the Ha-Go Late. Going by the way the tank is listed by serial number and the photo supplied, I think this may represent an actual restored vehicle. Otherwise, it doesn't seem any different to their standard kit of the Ha-Go tank. That's all, folks, from the Falcon. Thank you very much, Mr. Falcon.
Yes.
You guys got any new kits or anything?
Katare.
Oh, yes.
They're releasing a special boxing of the Mark 1A Spitfire Early, which is the Alan Deere boxing.
Ooh.
So if everyone remembers the Wingnut Wing special boxings,
Yes.
the Aces boxings, it's basically exactly the same. The box now stands vertically rather than horizontally. These printed vertically, and it's got like the black and white photo of the Ace and a profile of the aircraft underneath.
Oh, very clever.
So this one will come with a resin figure of the pilot, Alan Deere.
Alan Deere, yep.
And
Who was South African, top of my head?
might be, I'd have to Google it. And a set of resin exhausts.
Oh, cool. And when's that due for release, do you think?
No idea, but hopefully not too far away. I'm just waiting for them to bring out the Mark 5s. Because I really want them to do a Mark 5C.
Idiot, of course, Alan Deere was a New Zealand pilot.
New Zealand, of course.
Yeah,
it
of
had to be
course.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
yes, being a Kiwi company.
Yeah, of course, makes sense.
Because, I'd love to see, I'm really waiting to see if they bring out a Mark 5C in their kit sets. Because that'd be the amount of Australian options you can do for that is just incredible.
Indeed. All right, I think we'll have a...
Yeah, you'll be able to do one of the many, 30 different planes that had Grey Nurse written on it.
No, that's Mark 8s.
Oh, is that a Mark 8, is it?
Yeah.
That's the Mark 8s. No, Mark 5s had the big tropical chin scoop.
Yeah, I think I've seen some photos of those ones.
There's some pretty cool looking things.
Cool bananas. All right, guys, we'll be back very shortly because we've got a fantastic interview coming up with none other than Mr. Will Pattison.
Yay.
So we're going to be having a chat about assemblers versus builders.
Yes.
And no doubt knowing Will...
Deep diving into people who really shouldn't freaking say anything and basically, just getting rid of the bad mouse in the hobby.
And no doubt knowing Will and ourselves, we'll probably scramble off subject and talk about a whole heap of other stuff. But anyway, should be interesting. Coming up very shortly, just after this short break. Whether you build aircraft, armour, ships, science fiction, cars or figures, the Fine Scale Modeller magazine provides the how-to information you need to take your modelling to the next level. In each issue of Fine Scale Modeller, you'll find clear how-to features on model assembly and finishing written by experts, reviews of the hottest model kits and products, tips and techniques for assembling, painting and finishing, as well as inspiring photos of readers' models. To find out how you can get your copy of Fine Scale Modeller, go to www.finescale.com www.falcon.com. And hello and welcome back to the show. And joining us in this segment of the show, we've got Will Pattison from Sprue Cutters Union, who's joining us to have a talk about assemblers versus builders, which is a subject, man,
contentious subject.
Will, welcome to the show, mate.
Well, what's up, my Australian brethren? It's good to see you guys again. Good to get it.
Yeah, great to see you too, Will.
Yeah, man, this is cool. I was surprised when I got the invite, but I love hanging out with you guys. I still think back to the good times in Omaha when I got to see you guys in person.
Yes, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's always a good time. And when Goldfinch told me what we were going to talk about, I was especially gleeful because that's a trigger topic for me. So
good.
I'm ready. I'm stoked.
Oh no.
Well, the only reason I thought it's because I'm getting not really annoyed, but it's okay. It is. It's ticking me off a bit where I'm starting to see in social media things popping up. People accusing other people of being an assembler rather than a builder, and We've just got to sort of squash this sort of ridiculous sort of stuff that sort of goes on within our hobby.
We do. We got to stamp that shit out like a forest fire. I'm just
100%.
Well, are you guys on the same page at the moment, though?
Well,
we haven't had this conversation
yet.
We
haven't yet. So let's take a step back. So,
First of all, define what's the difference between an assembler, Dave, and a builder.
Well, an assembler is the old term shake and bake.
Yes,
right.
A Tamiya kit.
A Tamiya kit
Bandai,
or Bandai.
Yep.
So if somebody comes up and says to you, "Oh, you're just an assembler," or "You're just doing a shake and bake," the inference is that you're not a good modeler because you're doing something that's really easy to put together. Whereas a real modeler would work on something like a Mach 2 kit or an etchy kit from the.
That's a masochist who works on a freaking Mach 2 kit. You muppet. What are you going on about?
Well, he's going for what's near and close by because he's been working on that Mach 2 kit. It's
So it's
So have you got
his monogram? Yeah. Or if you don't carve it out, if you don't carve it out of wood.
That's right. It's not a real model.
So it's sort of like the painter's version of deriding somebody because they paint by numbers rather than just doing freestyle and painting on canvas.
Right.
That's 100. Yeah, it's 100% what it is. And where you really see it is like if you're, if you have the temerity to throw something up there in protest of kit quality, like this thing doesn't fit, or how come they didn't engineer this better? You get this chorus from the peanut gallery of, well, that's not a problem for real modelers.
Is that like someone going on YouTube and saying that Kataro Spitfires are crap because they don't come with a motor? and then you look at the end product, the end build, and you go, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So you guys saw that too.
Oh, I think everyone online worldwide saw that freaking train crash.
That dude's like, he is super stoked because all of a sudden his viewership went he has no idea it's for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
But you get that. You get that.
Yeah, can I throw a plug? Throw out a plug real quick?
Sure.
I mean, this is a total diversion, but since you brought that up, I just got to say that we interviewed Richard Alexander and Darren Mildenhall of Kotare just a couple of days ago on Sprue Cutters Union. So, yeah, it turned out really good, and we got to talk to them specifically about some of those reviews. So.
I'll be definitely listening to this episode.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Sprue Cutters Union.
Yeah, we went deep with those guys, and they were great, man. They were really, they were really fun to talk to and very informative. So yeah.
We're hoping to catch up with Richard and the team when we head over to New Zealand IPMS Nationals in later on this year, actually.
Oh, wow. That's going to be cool. That's one. New Zealand is a place that I will always regret not getting to go to.
Oh, my God. New Zealand is like the world's biggest secret in regards to its beauty. It's just gorgeous country.
Yeah. Very cool place, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So,
We gotta get back.
Anywho,
You know there's no real hobbits over there, right?
Well, actually, Ian and I are hoping to get to
There's
Hobbiton.
the Hobbiton doesn't interest me one bit. I want to go to Weta Studios.
Well, that's near Hobbiton, I think, so I need to go there anyway.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We're laughing.
Anyways, that's On the Bench travelogue.
You know,
this is what happens to us. We end up talking about food for half an hour, and then we talk about models.
well, how about I bring this back on topic? So, I was just thinking about the whole Tamiya shake and bake thing, right? So, how shake and bake are they these days? When you think about it,
Tamiya.
because there's quite
Pretty
a lot.
much.
There's quite. Is it though? Because there's quite a lot of photo etch in them in some of their kits these days.
Yeah, but that doesn't negate it being a bake and shake.
Doesn't it?
No.
Because it's steel photo etch, and that's often the worst kind.
Oh, gee, I've only ever come across their stainless steel photo etch in that.
And it used to be
Submarine that
it
they
used to be
did.
opt in, right?
Yeah.
Like so you would go and buy the separate sheet
You
for
have
it.
the option. You have
Now
the option.
they often
Yeah.
come with the kits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
I don't
basic
know.
photo
I mean,
etch.
look, I think the whole that just underscores how silly the shake and bake concept is. I mean, because does it really matter how easily it goes together if it's got 500 parts? I mean, they're 1/32 scale Spitfire and Mustang kits. They fit beautifully, but I would not call those like beginner kits.
No, not a chance.
By any stretch. Yeah, I mean, you have to be good at it, and the whole thing is just stupid because, I mean, unless you're Paul Budzik or Guillermo Rojas Bazan and you're building the whole damn thing from scratch, 90% of what you do is assembly. So
Yeah.
get over yourself, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fully agree. Fully agree on that one.
And the thing is, though, I mean, the modelling community for years has constantly been handing industry to say, give us some kits that are fit together and well engineered. And then
Right.
when they arrive, you get a segment of the community that turns around and says, that's just assembling.
Isn't it? It's a bit of an ego thing. They like to big up themselves on
This wasn't right, so I
rough
fixed it.
I don't take the easy road, mate.
Yeah.
That's 100% what it is. It's gatekeeping by dudes who just need some way to make themselves feel cool.
Yes.
And let's be real. Like we've met plenty of those guys, right?
Oh, totally.
And a
Yeah.
lot of them, it really doesn't come down to them disliking good kits. They just aren't willing to spend the money on them.
They're tight.
Yeah, there's that. But you nailed it before. I mean, it's absolutely an ego thing. Like when I was a motocross guy, we had that same dude in the dirt bike community. You show up on your new, well-washed and well-maintained and tricked-out motocross bike, and there's always going to be that dude on his clapped-out 1973 YZ250 who's like, I don't need twin shock. I don't need single shocks. I don't need water cooling. I'm a real motocrosser. There's one of those guys in every hobby.
and they still wonder why they're getting lapped every race.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I just like to ride at the back of the pack and feel scary.
That's right. I can intimidate them from there.
But at least in that, because everyone has to participate in a race, and there's a quantifiable like here's where you are in the pecking order kind of thing. But very rarely do those kinds of people enter into modeling competitions, right? So they never have to sort of justify how bad they are.
Exactly. And with the online thing, I mean, it's there, but you have to be looking for it. Like, because when that dude pops out of the woodwork, chances are he's not showing you his work.
That's true. Yeah.
And when you finally do get to see it, it's a game of counting the fingerprints and the glue blobs. So
seam lines and
and that's usually when they I just build for myself.
Yeah, that's their excuse.
Yeah, they post that stupid little meme thing with the rat or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So it's the same guys.
It is,
Yep.
but here's the thing. I mean, making a model isn't just about assembling it and building it. You've got your painting. You've got your getting rid of any flaws that appear in the construction, be it introduced by yourself when you build it, or be it a manufacturer's issue. You've got the finishing, as I said. You've got the stand to put it on if indeed you're going to display it in that way. So it's not just about the assembly as well. You see what I'm saying? It's
yeah. I mean that's just a part of it. That's
Yeah.
just one. That's just basically table stakes. I mean, you have to be able to put it together before you can do the important stuff, right?
And don't get me wrong, there are people out there who just build and put things together and don't paint them. Sam Dwyer.
Ouch!
Don't worry.
Savage.
Well, it's true. He hasn't. He told
Yeah,
us
what did he
once.
say? He's got like 34 kits on his shelf of doom.
Yeah,
that are built.
I have personally seen the Shelf of Doom.
He just likes building.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what.
Sickness. I'm just saying that's some kind of neurosis, man.
But then again, also 99% of the stuff on his Shelf of Doom, I would be extremely proud of.
Yeah.
He is a
But
very good
to circle back, there are people out there who just like to build, and if they do slap a paint on, they still use the brush. I nearly said hairy stick. Then it got into trouble as well.
Thank you. I would have had to mute you for 24 hours.
I could see his eye twitching. And they're quite fine with it. And that's fine, because the hobby is to everybody what they get out of it. It doesn't have to be building, something that's going to be world beating at the next major model show. The purpose of the hobby, of any hobby, is for you to enjoy it, get some enjoyment out of it. So if that's what part of it you enjoy, that's fine. No problem at all. But it's when you come up and start accusing people or calling people an assembler and you're deriding them, then that's when the issue sort of pops up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary, and it is. It's just another form of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than gatekeepers.
I much prefer to have a well-engineered kit that goes together easily and quickly than have to struggle through rectifying manufacturing issues when I'm building a model, unless I have no choice because that manufacturer, who's a poor manufacturer, is the only one that has that particular kit. Then I'm stuck with it, and I've got to sort of
Mac 2.
yes.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, if you have that much love for the subject, then you got to do what you got to do. But that doesn't define you as a human being.
No.
Well, here's the other interesting thing, because Julian, he printed off a rocket for me the other day. It's that one from The Martian. The what's the name?
The
of
MAV.
the ship?
Martian
Yeah.
atmospheric vehicle.
The one that takes off with Watley in the front of it and it heads back up. So that's just a single print. So I don't have to assemble.
Well, it's two prints. It's like one for the bottom and then the rest of it.
I've got to glue two bits together. The rest of it is just purely 100% painting. I mean, where does that fit into the assembler versus builder argument? It doesn't.
Well, there really is no real assembly required, is
Well, there
there?
you go.
Just pop two pieces together.
It then comes back to how I can sort of get any flaws off it that Julian introduced and during his print your printer introduced during that print.
It wasn't a perfect print, all right?
No, it wasn't.
That's the only one you're getting, though.
Even if it was a so-called perfect print, you still, I mean, you got a lot of sanding to do. You got some, plenty of basic body work. I mean, honestly, you could that's all that real building stuff, right?
Yeah.
And here's the other thing too. As modelers, we're quite happy to look at those guys who do busts and all that sort of stuff, and give them huge rounds of applause. But there's, again, 99% of the time, there's no building process required in that, because it's just a bust. All you're doing is painting it.
Busts, you got
I just did one.
I saw that.
It was literally 3 pieces, and I was thrilled.
Yeah, I would have been too, because then you can get to the bit that you perhaps either enjoy or loathe, which is the painting.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And I've got to say, Will, the sweat marks on the hat come up really well too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I grew up with a real live reference of that because my dad insisted on. He was like a baseball player who believed that a sweat stained hat was good luck, and he would wear these Stetsons until they could practically walk under their own power. So, yeah, I was well informed on that one. So thank you.
No worries, mate. No worries at all.
Yeah, I was just sort of thinking that these kinds of people who would put other people down for wanting to streamline their build style. Like, what were they doing as kids? Were they building advanced kits or not? I mean, it's like chances are they didn't have much choice in the matter, and whatever they were building was as good as it got, right?
Yeah.
At
but
the time.
Remember when we were kids.
But somewhere along the line, they stayed in that era,
Yeah, I think you're being generous, man. I don't think it's that complicated.
You got to throw them a bone.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. They don't throw us bones.
Yeah. David and I are on the same page. Why?
Yeah.
Why? You don't. I have no sympathy for those guys.
Nope.
None.
No, get with the times, man. Simple as that.
Look,
get with the times.
I appreciate them just because, like, they're the crash test dummy that I can take my emotions out on,
Hey, wait a minute! You said I was the crash test dummy once, so now I'm confused.
I don't recall.
Compliment.
I don't recall Julian using the words crash test. I think he just said dummy.
Look,
didn't he?
look. I've been, playing games and other stuff on the internet for a long time, and there's nothing I enjoy more than pissing people off on the internet. Right? They're people who deserve it.
Yeah.
Right? There's no fun in just picking on somebody. They have to deserve it.
Yeah, we have similar appetites. I think you know that.
Yes, it's very true.
But look, some of these people just literally come into the room with a "kick me" sign on their forehead, and it's like, okay, I mean, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'm happy to oblige. And the whole assembler versus modeler thing is just it's just too easy.
It's childish.
Yeah.
It is, and we got to make sure that the standard that we walk past is the standard we accept. So on that basis, we've got to call it out when we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Amen. Preach, brother.
But it's not just that. I mean, it's other parts. And it's funny because really you could sort of expand this discussion onto other things and
rivet counters and so forth.
Well, I think we've sort of killed that one off nicely.
You see my shirt that I wore just for you guys, right?
And for those, obviously you can't see. Will's wearing a T-shirt that says "Rivet Counter" in bold white writing on his T-shirt.
I had it made before the IPMS Nationals last year, so I could wear it when I was being a judge.
Oh, well done! I love it.
It got a few sideways looks.
I'll bet.
Next time, show up with one of them little clicker counters, so that you can actually count them.
I think for the next one in Texas, I'm going to have one made that says assembler.
Oh, yes.
So you are hitting San Antonio this year?
Absolutely, man. I wouldn't miss it. I mean, it's that's as close as it's ever going to get to me. That's about 9 hours drive, so I will be there.
9 hours is still a tough drive.
Still a big drive, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's just halfway across Texas, man.
Well, unfortunately, none of us are getting there. Ian did have plans earlier on, but
that's what I thought.
Then life got in the way, and what it's like, man.
Yeah,
dude, I was so looking forward to hanging out again.
Oh, we will. Don't worry, I'll be back. Just won't be this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've definitely got plans in place for Madison. I don't know. That's probably a bit too far for you to get to Madison.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's way up at the top end of the country. I'll probably skip that one.
Yeah. Oh well, such is life.
It is.
Back on topic. We're talking about gatekeepers and people who are deriding those who assemble good kits and everything. I think that also flows onto something else that you and I will both seen just recently with a large post from a good friend of ours in regards to slurs against, or racial slurs, let's call it. Call it for what it is, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Our good buddy Martin Drayton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty. I mean, look, we've all seen stupid shit in these groups, but that I mean that was exceptionally stupid.
Oh,
And
definitely agree.
I was really, I mean, first of all, not that Martin needs any of my approval, but I was really proud of him for putting that out there and, like, making it and in a very constructive way, making it, putting it in front of people.
Yeah.
And then I was really proud of the crowd in SMCG, because I asked Martin to go cross post over there, and the response was really good, unlike the group that originally caused the problem.
Yeah.
So I was, we just don't need gatekeeping, man.
No.
Hobbies are supposed to be inclusive. There's no, I mean, I will argue, you guys know, I will argue to the death about the right way to apply decal or airbrush paint or, whatever it is. Those are techniques. There's good ways and there's bad ways, but the ways that we enjoy our hobbies, when people say there's no right way, that's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
If your favorite thing is building 1971 Revell, then great. More power to you, man. Do it. Have fun.
It's whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you want to do snap tight kits, get on with it.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy. If your favorite thing is painting, then do that. If your favorite thing is building, then do that. But the whole being judgy of how other people choose to enjoy their pastime that has no effect on you whatsoever, that just makes you look like a dumbass.
I was going to say, I was going to make you look like a dick.
Yeah, but also
Absolutely.
excluding parts of the community. Because I'm lamenting that there's not more women modelers in our hobby. And geez, the ones that I know, oh my God, they're the most powerful painters that I've ever seen in my entire life. And my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, who's does Warhammer stuff, oh my God, the stuff that she paints is just sensational. And I think, as in the past, because it's sort of a white blokey sort of hobby, or has been seen as such, that we've cut out these whole segments of the community that could enrich us and, bring so much more to it. And it's just a crying shame. And that's why it goes back to, we talk about, rivet counters and assemblers versus builders and whatever other sort of, deriding thing that comes up. It's just by allowing that to creep in or allowing that to continue is just another nail in our wonderful hobbies coffin.
When you said just a moment ago, seen as like a white blokey hobby,
yeah,
right? It probably only seems that way in the West, right?
Well,
Because half the kits out there from Japan, right? And they don't make kits for us; they make kits for them.
What's the Japanese or the Asian equivalent of a white bloke then?
I don't know. Probably their own, right?
But there you go. It's still, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it's like being so like the only way you could even have that impression is if you're completely ignorant of where half of these kids come from, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a sausage party, no matter which part of the world.
Exactly.
That's
It's a male-dominated hobby.
It is. Even in Japan, it is. Although I reckon they've probably got better the female side. But like the female side of the hobby is better represented over there than it is here, probably. I know, I've seen firsthand, not firsthand, but at least through a camera, an old like someone's grandmother, like a grandmother who's building like a 1350 Yamato.
Yeah, I saw that video here. It's cool, very cool.
A grandmother building a Yamato.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's in.
I mean, I don't think she had any plans on painting it. She didn't seem like the type. But it doesn't have that sort of boys thing stigma over there in Japan that I think it has in the West.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's certainly a lot of even in Southeast Asia. There's actually quite a lot of girls that get into building gunpla and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation about why it's that way. But
sorry, I derailed the conversation again.
No, it's all good. I'm just saying, if we were, there's we could, there's a deep rabbit hole to go down there.
Yeah, but it's the same sentiment that drives the people who originally what the topic was, assemblers versus builders. It's that mentality and sentiment that filters through all the other parts that we've just touched on.
Yeah, it's all comes from the same place.
It's all gate. I think, as Will said, it's all gatekeeping.
Yep, and it's all just honestly, it's just dudes trying to swing their dicks, man.
Yep, exactly. No, fully agree.
It's all it is. It's just I guess that's part of being a dude, right? Like we sort of evolved that way. We love to debate, we love to argue, and I think that in some ways that's the engine of a lot of the improvements that we have made over time. Like arguing over the best way to kill a mammoth was, maybe a good way to keep from getting killed by a mammoth.
Yeah.
It's part of our DNA, but that doesn't mean that you just have to be a turd.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the thing we all got to realize, the thing that everyone should think about is why you originally got into the hobby.
Yeah.
You originally got into the hobby because it was something you liked or something you could do yourself. You didn't. When we all first started, we weren't into competitions. We weren't into scratch building. We weren't into super detailing.
No, it's just cool.
It was just something we could build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd keep us occupied for a few hours.
Yeah.
And that's what people. And then as we got older, then we started going out, finding our own little grooves, and then.
But Will did say it, and I think it's right. We bring all of our social prejudices along with us into whatever it is we're doing in life anyway, and we bring it into our hobbies, we bring it into our workplace. God knows it, probably even into your own home, whatever. I guess what, and I'm sure I don't want to speak for Will here and talk to himself, but. What we're saying is, in regards to the hobby, we've got to sort of rail against that and sort of draw a line and say no.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I mean, we try and enforce that in SMCG. It's our own little corner of the internet where we can do what we want, and we even have a word. They give you tools for group admins, and you can set word alarms. And we have a word alarm for assembler.
Well done.
Yeah, if you come in there with that kind of silliness, the police are going to show up immediately.
Yeah,
that's a 911 straight away.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Yep, the police are going to show up immediately and send you to 24 hours of STFU training.
It's a way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly that's where a lot of this sort of falls is on group moderators.
Yeah,
because we're the ones that actually have the tools and the capability to enforce these things, and that's a thankless job. None of us get paid to run these little Facebook groups or whatever, but it just really bums me out how often I see stuff like this happening, and the moderators and the admins just aren't doing anything about it. And what's even worse is if you call somebody out for it, you're likely to end up in the penalty box in a lot of these.
Exactly.
Because you're being disagreeable, or because there's a bunch of turds in the group who also think like that. And so
it's been normalized in society, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't ring a lot of alarm bells, with a lot of people. They just sort of, that's just male banter kind of thing,
Right. Yeah. And they, exactly. And then they're just, it's the knee jerk reaction. As a disagreeable guy, I get that a lot, and it is what it is. I'm not whining about it, but I think moderators in these groups have to take more responsibility. If you don't have enough moderators, get some more. It's not that hard.
Yeah. But what about real life when you encounter them in real life?
Yeah, well, hey, you know me. You know what I'm going to do.
Put them in their place.
Yeah, a lot of people, but modelers being modelers and being fairly somewhat introverted, even when they do come out in public. I think a lot of people would just sort of let those comments fly by.
Oh, a lot of people do. But we're finding more and more people are now sick of that sort of crap, and they will stand up to it.
Yeah.
I remember, you and the other guys in our model club mentioning about this guy who used to attend, and he would tell these tall stories about how he used to be a pilot. And
oh yeah, it was that bloke who came in, and he used to say he used to fly BAC Lightnings, and
it was all tall stories.
Oh, tall stories. Then he started trying to school me on Shelby American cars, and that's usually where I stuck him in his spot, and he never came. Funny, he never came back to another club meeting after that day.
I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall.
He was so full of it, this dude.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do it. I mean, there's ways to do it, obviously, and online is a little bit different. I mean, sometimes people say, well, you wouldn't say that in real life. Well, no, you probably wouldn't, because it's different. You don't have all the options when you're typing little tiny words that you do when you're, standing there right in front of some guy who's running off at the mouth, and you can just roll your eyes at him. You don't get that online. So it is different.
It is totally, totally different. Yeah. Totally different entities.
But either way, what you said, I really loved that, David, that what you let pass is where you set your standard. And
the standard you walk past is the standard you accept.
Exactly. Yeah. The standard you walk past is the standard you accept. That is that's great.
One of our generals actually in recent times said that because our Defence Force was having some issues in regards to gender bias and all that sort of stuff, and anyway, and he came out and made this big statement, to all the troops, the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. And I thought it was quite, well, it's a statement that sort of rings so true throughout everything that you do in life. It's a really good one. It's a really good one.
Totally agree.
And even down into your own local club. I mean, see, the club's funny because in some respects the club is like a little protective group where some people quite extremely well because you've been together years, and it can be seen as a safe space in regards to have banter that would not necessarily the language be acceptable outside of that club boundaries. It's like when you're having a beer in the backyard with some mates,
Yep.
You can talk
more frankly, more freely.
Well, you can talk, you can just
basically you can talk shit. And
yeah,
not really
okay.
worry about
I was going to use the shit word, but you've said it now. That's fine. But it's also incumbent on the model club that when you get new members coming in, is that you don't know what their history or their journey's been, so you've got to understand where they're coming from. And you might have to modify the way your club then operates moving forward if you want to bring more people in. You might have to
you find that happens anyway. That naturally happens.
Self-moderates.
Yeah, self-moderates, and people tend to...
Yeah, they put on
they
put on the kid gloves, they sort of...
Yeah, you tiptoe around
before you know someone a bit better, you
tiptoe around them until you realise where they stand in life, what the way they think, and then...
Yeah, but it's also silent judging in a way. Like if this person turns out to be, one of those guys... then we sort of start looking around and start going, are we going to show this guy the door? Or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but the thing starts with leadership, with the folks who are running the show and setting an example. And I can testify, I know you guys are probably tired of me saying all these things about SMCG, but I'm really proud of the way that group has developed because. Julian, you talked about like other people kind of picking up the flag, and that's absolutely what's happened in there. Like we almost never, as admins or moderators, have to even do anything when something like that happens because the deputies are already there. I mean, we've created that group culture, and so it's just not tolerated.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of people who can come to their own conclusion independently in that group, and they can all step in. There's not a lot of hey guys, I can do this too kind of.
But also in that group, and I think it's quite important to say, and kudos to the how you've allowed to grow, Will, is that when something does come up, by and large, the majority of the people, 99.9%, they'll play the ball, not play the man, to use another term.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about a discussion on paintbrushes and having a discussion about people calling them hairy sticks and rather that, the people will talk to that subject. They'll play the ball. They won't turn around and attack the individual as such.
Absolutely. I mean, we've even largely driven out the other one that goes right along with the assemblers versus modelers, which is I never had a problem.
Yeah.
Those guys. I mean, because we fundamentally believe that you should be able to talk about the products and the techniques and the products that we work with openly, and all opinions are valid. Just defend it intelligently and don't make it personal.
Yep.
And that's the thing. When you say, "Well, I never had a problem," or you must not be a real modeler, you've immediately made it personal.
Yeah. And you've automatically
don't get it twisted. You immediately just insulted that other guy's skills and know nothing about.
And 99% of people on that post, and they're going to be looking to see what you can bring to the table. And if you can't bring anything to the table, well, you're going to get crucified, son.
Quick sidebar. People have been talking about sprue goo, and I have never been able to get sprue goo to work at all. And we spoke about this, I think, on our last episode, and then I got this email after the episode dropped. This email popped in from Paul Budzig saying, "Hey man, check out my video on sprue goo." So
I thought you were gonna say that he sent you an email that said you must not be a real modeler.
I think Paul's got way too much class for that.
But it was what? Paul's like the one guy on the planet who could get away with saying that.
He probably could. Yeah,
he's such a nice guy.
It's very true.
Yeah. But I thought it was just really cool that because I cannot get sprue goo to. I don't know whether I put too much plastic in it. I don't know. It just.
What is it that's causing you problems?
Oh, well, it's really thick and gloopy when I bring it out, and it just doesn't apply properly. And then if I have it too thin, it just makes a mess. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, I've got to watch the video that Paul sent me so I can perhaps make sense of where I'm going wrong and then come back and try it again.
Yeah.
Well, I love to talk shop. Can I ask you a couple questions?
Shoot.
Okay, so what kind of plastic did you use to make it?
I used the plastic from the kit I was doing.
Okay, well, that's a good choice. Some guys like to use evergreen, and that's really impure. Like, the softer that styrene is, the more additives it's got.
Right.
So, right. Yep.
Yep. And those additives are a lot of times what'll cause it. Like sometimes you'll get little bubbles that'll make little pits.
Yes.
And I think it's those additives. My best mixes have been using clear plastic because that's totally pure polystyrene.
Huh.
And I will add a little bit of lacquer to it, a little bit of lacquer paint to it, so I can see it.
Yeah, I was going to say you got to tint it, otherwise you wouldn't know where it is.
But you don't have to. That's just something I do for convenience. But I always find that if I put enough, if I keep thinning it until it's not stringy, when I dip something into the jar and pull it out, that's a good starting point. But I will oftentimes take some out of the jar and put it on a little surface and add some more extra thin to it right there, so that it's like the consistency of like enamel paint out of a jar.
Right.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah. And then I put it on with what do you apply it with?
I apply it with the brush that was in the original glue jar.
Yeah. Well, I keep some shitty old paintbrushes, like little tiny ones that I use for stuff like that. And I just wash them off in the jar of extra thin when I'm done.
So there you go, Dave.
Tips you're picking up and learning.
You're learning, Dave.
And although the other thing I must it's probably my fault I put it on too thick. But when I have also used it in the concoction that I've made, and then they've used it, I go away, come back a week later, and as I've sanded it off, I found it still drying in the middle of the darn thing.
Yeah, you might be putting on too much.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to pile it up in thin layers.
Thin layers.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it be told when we paint as well? Thin layers.
Yeah.
Oh, the Duncan Rhodes School of Painting.
Thin your paints.
Was it two? Is it two or three thin layers or something like that? Is his catchphrase?
Yeah.
Yeah. My Sprugger's more stringy, the stringy type, the quite goopy type.
Well, you keep talking. I'm going to go and get mine just to show you guys. So you keep talking.
Yep.
You go get your thing.
Go on, Dave.
Yeah. Mine's the goopy type, and I just apply it with like a spatula kind of a thingy.
So you like it to be that thick.
Yeah, I do. I don't want it I want it to stick.
Right. Yeah, and if it works that way for you, that's good. What I don't like is if it's stringy and I'm not paying attention and I stretch one of those little strings across like a clear part or something.
Oh yeah, no, that
you have
really
to come back
suck.
and polish.
That'd suck.
Yeah, ask me how I know.
Oh no.
No. Because that'd be nearly impossible to get off too.
You have, I mean, it'll etch right into the surface, and you have to polish it.
Yep. Oh.
It's just like a scratch at that point.
I'd hate that. I would hate that.
What's wrong, Dave? You have come back empty-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I cracked it and threw it out. So I can't show you.
That's all right. That's fine. I did use the Eduard plastic, and I thought that was a fairly good plastic to work with when I made mine.
Well, my logic is and I don't know how you do it if you're doing so many different models, but my logic is if you're doing Tamiya plastic, melt the Tamiya plastic down and use that. Same as when I'm making. I also make my own plastic fillers. You know how if you've got a gap in your mold, you'll put a bit of styrene down to sort of fill the gap.
Yeah.
Well, I'll use the old method where you sort of stretch the sprue. Stretch through. That's what. Damn, Dave, get your teeth in. Stretched sprue from the same plastic of that kit, and then put that into there rather than using, stock card.
My question is, when you're using the same colour,
no, it's not the colour.
So you tint it?
No, what?
Because I'm thinking, like, if you're using the exact same plastic, as a sprue
where you put it.
and you put it on there, it's going to be a lot harder to see unless you. Whereas if you tint that colour a different colour before you apply the sprue goo, you'll be able to see what you're working.
No, not sprue goo. I'm talking about just doing straight plastic on plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So gap filling with the plastics.
That come with the kit.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you talking about using glue, or are you talking about using heat?
No, I'll use glue.
I thought you were talking about that whole plastic welding crap.
No. Okay, picture this. I'm going to take you guys back. I'm going to step you through it. So you've got this great big gap in a model kit. You have two choices. You can either get cardstock and fill it that way.
I'm on the
old
same
way.
page as you now, yeah.
So what I will do, or you can get some sort of filler and fill it. Well, you'll be there for years doing it. So what I'll get is
make up some stretch sprue.
Make up some stretch sprue from the actual model
plastic,
yes. And use that as the filler.
Okay.
Yeah, it gives you a base to pile on whatever other kind of filler you need on top.
And I'm using the same plastic, so I know how it's going to react with the other plastic around it. And I have this mental image that it's blending slightly better because it's the same plastic as the one next door to it when I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault your logic, but I think you don't have to do that. Like I keep a couple of jars of sprue goo at my bench that it's like I started that stuff like 5 years ago, and I just keep adding to it if I get low on it, and it works good. Works fine for everything I use it for, regardless of what the kit is.
Okay.
There you go.
Especially the clear stuff, because again, the clear stuff is pure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been going away from sprue goo these days. It just
What are
takes,
you using instead?
Well, I mean, mostly just mostly just Tamiya putty type stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just over this ridiculous wait time for it to dry.
Well, I mean, what's ridiculous? Overnight? I mean,
More than overnight. I mean, maybe I'm kicking it on too much.
The impatience of youth.
Maybe.
that's a good rule of thumb. Like, if you want to know if you're using too much sprue goo, the 24-hour test will tell you. If it's not ready to work at the next day, you're using too much.
Yeah, fair call.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Whereas me, I have no problem leaving a kit for a week before I touch it again.
Although, Julian, if you bought kits that went together and were perfectly engineered, you wouldn't have to worry about gap filling.
That is absolutely true.
Just circling back to what we originally started the whole discussion on.
True. I tell you what.
I think it all comes down to we're now at that point where we go, I'm just too old for this shit.
You know what? I don't care if this goes on another bit of a tangent, even if it's not really. But when it comes to those really nice modern Tamiya kits and Eduard kits,
yes,
I find that it is more work to try and preserve the surface detail and do really clean work than it is to take an old kit and then just slap it together and then bog the whole seam line, right?
Do all and add the detail from the beginning. Yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, it's kind of the same either way. You're either a good craftsman or you're not. It doesn't really matter.
I've even bought a second kit because I didn't like the job I did the first time.
I think
just because I've obliterated enough detail that I just wasn't happy anymore. I was like, I've made enough mistakes on this build that I'm not happy. I got to get new bits, new fuselage, something like that. I've done that.
Yeah, it's just one more reason why that whole assembler versus real modeler thing doesn't stand up to any sort of scrutiny at all.
Yep, agree.
And I think personally the best defense, because again, it's a dude who's front running with his ego, is to just treat them as silly as they are.
Yeah,
100%.
Fully agree,
it's
mate.
Like, whatever, bro. Cool story. That's where a collection of cool story memes is very useful.
Yes.
My favorite tactic for dealing with those people is, really, you still use plastic kits? What kind of a noob are you? I'm still using, paddle pop sticks and matchsticks for my kits.
Yeah.
Get on my level.
Back in my day, you used to carve them out of soapstone.
Do you even carve wood, bro?
That's it.
Julian doesn't carve, he whittles.
Whittles.
Man, it's been a great conversation. I think we've really hit sort of all the high points there, and I hope that the folks listening to this sort of take on board what we're saying and sort of continue to push the message out there. Well, where can people find you if they want to get in contact, reach out, send you a box of chocolates or whatever it is, man? How do they get hold of you?
Well, it depends. If I owe them money, they can't.
Boom, boom.
Otherwise, I've got I'm easy to find on the Facebooks, Scale Modelers Critique Group. I tend to hang out in there. I am one of a trio of reprobates on the Sprue Cutters Union podcast with my compadres Chris Meddings and Tracy Hancock. And it doesn't get a lot of love lately, not as much as it used to, but I've got a YouTube channel if you're really, really bored. And, there's some stuff over there. So,
I love watching the YouTubes. I reckon that's great.
See, I think of Will's YouTube as a resource, like Wikipedia. Like a Wikipedia for road testing modeling products.
You're very kind, Julian. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's true. It's like I need a deep dive on Sprue, and I can find it on your channel, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I think I've got Yeah, at least a half an hour long video on sprue gear. So there you go, Goldfish. Get over it.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, you experiment as well, so you show what doesn't work as well as what does work.
Yeah, I've got no patience for experimenting. I just want the answer. Just give me the answer, Will.
Yeah, and I mean, I confess that's part of the hobby that's always been fun for me. I like to test things and figure it out for myself, and it's a lot of fun, and it's provided some unexpected bonuses when I announce my conclusions.
Yes, very true.
Oh, fantastic.
Very true.
Mate.
And before we go,
Yeah.
Will, with the Moosearoo Cup, I think you was robbed. I think you was robbed, mate. I out of all of them, I preferred yours the most.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate the kind words. I think the prize was well won by Mr.
Definitely.
Benani. He, look, his model was beautiful.
Yeah. Considering how short a time he had.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if he'd taken longer, it still came out really, really tight and really clean, and he played well. And so
that's right. In a modeling competition, you get 0 points for time spent.
Yep,
that's exactly right. Because if it were the other way around, I would win every single one. So, but no, look, I think everybody did a good job.
Yeah,
Ian, yours was beautiful. You
Thank
did
you.
a wonderful job with the weathering on that Australian Mustang, and I think it's unfortunate that there's can only be one cup.
That's it. Because you know what, man, you could have thrown a blanket over at least 4 of those because they were all, just as deserving as the other one to win. And
you're
right.
I think that's really true. Yeah.
And let's not forget. I mean, this was originally sort of set up between us and the Canadian guys, just as a fun sort of thing to do, and hopefully it will still continue to be just a fun thing to do with somebody walking away with bragging rights for the next 12 months.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really the important thing. I mean, look, I'm a competitor. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all about having fun and building. Having a little group build with your buddies. And honestly, the little group build thing that I had going with Ian and several of the other guys, that's what made it fun for me. So it was all good.
Well, I'm going to have a chat with the guys who actually judge it because I think I've taken some notes from this year, and I think we do perhaps need to have a Facebook page set up, and it's purely called Moosearoo Cup, so that people can watch along as we all build it this time around.
I think that would be really cool. I mean, I know maybe some guys want to be secretive about it, but to me, it's just more fun if it's just all out there, and it really is like a big group build, and you get inspiration from your competitors, and
I think it's good. I think it's good for competition if it's all out in the open.
Well, the secretiveness crept in when we were doing the Gumpler build, and that was because I was sledging. And and so that's where and I'll using the air quotations the secretiveness came in because we're doing a lot of sledging between a couple of the shows. But I think, and I've taken on board, I think it's a great idea that we perhaps have a Facebook page set up, and I'll get that up and running as soon as the announcement comes for the next one. And Julian's carrying a torch this year for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's over your side of the team, Will? Who's batting for you guys?
No idea. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I mean, we don't plan anything over.
Very off the cuff.
we just go round robin over here.
Yep. We just show up and see how it goes.
That's it. Very true.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's something I can do in like a nice glossy scheme. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, it is what it is, Julian.
That would be pretty interesting if it was automotive. I mean, because what have we had so far? We had Gunpla. We had the Mustangs. We had
those helicopters.
Damn. Those helicopters things.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's my turn again already.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's been 3 years, man.
Jeez. I feel like it doesn't seem that long ago that I built that stupid chopper thing.
Hey, you won it for us.
Yeah, I know.
Year?
I still feel like this is just my feelings, but I feel like the only reason why I won that one was because I managed to get the rotors on. Right, I managed to complete the assembly.
So
I blame the kit.
Where has the cup resided? You guys had it first, and
where did the first 2 years?
First 2 years we had it. Then
okay, so you guys had it the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it went to Kentucky, and
then went to Kentucky.
now Bonani gets to take it home to Colorado.
Yeah,
I still think we need an actual cup.
Definitely.
There needs to be a physical trophy.
Well, I can perhaps organise something. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
we'll look at doing that.
And, like Hancock had a really good idea. We use it like Rocky and Bullwinkle or whatever, and just make it fun. And make it something that gets literally gets passed around. It's got everybody's name on it.
Oh yeah, you'd have to make it big though, right? You'd need to be like a length of square tube.
No. Well, you got to think it's getting posted. Yeah, exactly. You got to post it around the world.
Yeah, you don't have to post it anywhere, right?
You do.
Because the judging's always done in the same place.
Doesn't matter.
Just keep it in the same place.
You got to be able to have it in your house for a year.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm thinking maybe we'll make it as something like Meccano or Lego, just as a wind up.
No.
Do you know how big it would get after like a few years, and then it gets heavier and harder to ship around.
I don't know. I'll think of something. Well, maybe you and I will take this offline and have a chat about it, and we can sort of come up with something. Because as I said, the Moosaroo Cup is our cup. As in, when I say our, I mean collectively with all the podcasts. So, dude, it's our thing to make what we want of it. We're just blessed that we've got the guys up in Hamilton who are willing to sort of, do all the hard yards in regards to...
Put the money down for starters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
And actually,
guys...
Yeah. So we're just lucky we've got those guys there. But, by and large, the true spirit of the Cup sort of resides in all of us, really, of the actual competition. So, yeah.
I agree. Yep.
Cool bananas.
Bring it on.
All right, man. I think we better call. Geez, we've had you on for an hour. That's perfect.
Good. Perfect timing.
Thank you guys for having me. This was good fun. It was good timing, and you guys are just always a blast to hang out with.
Likewise, mate.
Yes,
likewise.
Love having you on the show, and I like watching my feed go up, the stats go up when I've had you on the show as well.
That's why you get Will on.
Yeah, man. You're just the ratings. You're just there for the ratings. That's all. I could care less about the conversation. I've just got you on for the ratings.
I thought you were going to say that your inbox gets flooded with hate mail.
No, not at all.
I never get that. All right, mate. No worries. We'll chat again soon. But you have a good evening. Well, what a fantastic rambling discussion that was with Will.
Always great to have a chat with our mate Will.
It's always good to have him on the show.
Yeah.
And, we're right over a whole different thing. I was expecting just to be a fairly narrow discussion, but I should have known better.
We pretty much covered a lot of bases.
It's never going to be that simple when Will's on.
No.
We go off road.
We do.
Yep.
We travel the path untrodden.
All right, well, that's it for the show. Now, next episode, fingers crossed, all things being equal, we'll have Paul Budzig on the show.
Yep.
Julian won't be with us.
No,
he'll be away for the next 2 episodes.
It'll be hopefully it'll be a dip episode.
A dip.
Yeah, Dave, Ian, and Paul.
Well, yeah, I'm working on perhaps getting somebody to keep Julian's seat warm. We'll have to see what works out from that. So
as long as he doesn't fart in. Well, how else do you keep a seat warm?
Well, by sitting in it, perhaps.
Yes.
Well, anyway, who are you thinking?
I don't know. I've got a couple of names there, but
some candidates.
Sorry,
some candidates.
A couple of candidates.
Yeah, we won't mention any names.
Okay.
But we will hopefully do a live cross and maybe cut to a very short or special sort of report from you overseas. You're going to be able to. I can ring you, can't I, when you're overseas? You got your new phone sorted out for that?
Yes.
Your roaming, international roaming?
I'll sort something out. Don't worry about
All
it.
right, cool. No worries. And we'll organise something and get you on. You can talk about the show.
Yeah, or anything.
Shikazawa.
Well, Shikazawa, he's not going to be there at the Shikazawa at the next show.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Shikazawa show finishes, what was it, day or so before you take off
Before
home.
you take off home.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, before I fly on to Korea.
But you can tell us all about Godzilla and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Godzilla. I'm not as crazy about Godzilla as you are, all right?
You should be.
How long are you in Korea for?
Korea?
Only a few days.
Are you going to Korea as well?
Yeah.
You going past the 46 parallel?
No.
Oh.
Well, it has to fly there.
They don't fly over like North Korean territory.
Oh, no, they don't. Yeah, because Korea's higher than Japan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you come in under the 48th parallel.
Yeah, I also come in under the radar just in case I get shot down.
So what plans you got in Korea? You've kept that one quiet. What are you doing there?
Well, I've got an ex-girlfriend there that I'm meeting up with, and I figured while I was in that part of the world, I may as well go through there and say hello and blah, blah, blah.
Check out the model shops.
Yeah, because Korea's pretty good on...
Well, they got
on
AFV club, isn't it, from Korea?
No, that's Taiwan.
Oh, Taiwan, sorry.
Yeah.
No, Academy.
Academy, that's right.
No, but they're very big on modeling in Korea.
Yeah.
They win every single Gunpla world championship now.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah.
some of their
They kick it out of the park.
some
hit
of
it out of
their
the park,
naval
I should say.
modelers are the finest naval models I've
those
seen.
guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and they've got a lot of really, really advanced figure painters and sculptors, especially for like sort of sci-fi stuff.
And 3D aftermarket stuff as well, especially in the naval area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good all around.
I know.
So it'll be interesting.
Be very interesting.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, I look forward to it. So
Yeah, I plan to, but most of the time that I'll be there, I'll be stuffing my face with Korean fried chicken.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Love that.
Come back 20 kilos heavier.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you in a fortnight.
Bye.